I'm just so happy to be in Hawaii. All of the beautiful people, the beautiful beaches, the beautiful weather. Oh, this is gonna be a great vacation. Just you wait. Welcome back to the series where we take classic literature works and adapt them into cartoon shorts. Today we're looking at Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. We've got a full script ready to go. So let's just jump right into it. Our story begins with Oliver living out his best life in the workhouse. It's really quite idyllic. We can see him running around outside, having a good time, making friends, playing games. In fact, he's having so much fun that the other children ask him to come play with them. He looks over and sees a little girl crying in the corner and goes over to check on her. She tells him she doesn't have any shoes and Oliver gives her one of his. The two become fast friends and Oliver decides to take her home with him. At this point, the film cuts to black and white and we hear a disembodied voice talking about how evil the workhouse is. Oliver runs over to his mom, who's dozing off while smoking a cigarette, and tells her that he made a new friend and wants to keep her as a sister. Mom tells him no because they're already poor enough as it is. But then Oliver says if they adopt her, they won't be poor anymore because then there would be 4 of them and 4 times the votes. Mom thinks about this for a moment and then reluctantly agrees to take the girl in. The next morning, Oliver wakes up and notices that the girl has taken one of his shoes and is wearing it on the wrong foot. She explains that she had a dream that she was being chased by a giant rat who wanted to eat her shoe. So she put it on the wrong foot to confuse the rodent. Then, after some gentle prodding, Oliver learns that her name is Betsy and that she never knew her father. Oliver asks if she knows where he is, but she responds that she doesn't know what he looks like. But she does remember that he smelled like rum. At this point, Oliver gets an idea and announces that he's going to find his dad and get rich. Betsy tells him that's probably not going to happen, but Oliver ignores her and runs off. He soon finds a group of boys playing a game, and after winning a match, he asks them if they can help him find his dad. They respond by throwing him in a nearby river. Thankfully, he manages to swim to safety and continues his search. Eventually, he stumbles upon a pub and walks inside. He notices a man drinking in the corner who smells like rum, and so he approaches him and asks if he's his father. The man responds that he isn't, but that he used to be a sailor. And when he heard Oliver say that his dad smelled like rum, he thought it might be his old captain, Mr. Brownlow. Mr. Brownlow tells Oliver that he lives on the top floor of this building. So Oliver runs up there and knocks on his door. He hears a commotion coming from inside and soon sees Mr. Brownlow walking down the stairs with a terrified look on his face. When Oliver asks what's wrong, he responds that someone broke in and stole everything from his house. Mr. Brownlow immediately recognizes Oliver from when he saved him from the river earlier and takes him in as his own. Oliver is so excited to finally have a father figure in his life that he immediately takes him on a tour of the neighborhood. He shows him where he plays, where he eats, where he sleeps, and even where he secretly keeps a supply of stolen food. Mr. Brownlow is horrified to hear that Oliver has been stealing and so punishes him by not letting him eat dinner with him. Feeling dejected, Oliver goes back to the house of his biological mother, who welcomes him back with open arms. She's so happy to see him again that she gives him a big hug and kiss on the cheek. But then she starts noticing all the nice clothes he's wearing and asks where he got them. Oliver says Mr. Brownlow gave them to him, but Mom says that's not true and that he must have stolen them. She then proceeds to beat him and sends him to bed without any dinner. Enraged, Oliver runs away from home and returns to the only other father figure he's known, Mr. Brownlow. He explains to him what happened and that he doesn't want to go back home. Mr. Brownlow comforts him and tells him that they should go visit a friend of his named Mr. Grimwig, who will help them both escape Oliver's mom. They arrive at the house and are greeted by Mr. Grimwig. He's a kindly old man who seems to like Oliver a lot. He lets Oliver stay in his guest bedroom and then spends some time showing him magic tricks and telling him stories. Meanwhile, in another part of town, Oliver's mom is looking for her son with a detective named Losberne. Losberne thinks that Oliver ran away from home, but Mom insists that he was kidnapped. She's so overcome with grief that she faints. Later that night, Losberne checks in on Oliver to make sure he's alright. He asks Oliver if he knows where his mom is, and Oliver says no. Losberne then asks if he knows a pickpocket named Toby Crackit, but Oliver still says no. Losberne realizes that Oliver is a good kid and offers him some money so he can buy himself something nice. Oliver refuses it at first, but then Losberne insists. He tells Oliver to go to the park tomorrow morning and wait under the old oak tree with a basket, and he'll bring him the money then. The next morning, Oliver arrives early and waits patiently under the tree. Soon Losbern approaches and hands him the money. But then suddenly, Toby Crockett comes out from behind the tree and steals it. Losbern tries to chase him down, but it's too late. Toby had already gotten away. Losbern is furious and tells Oliver that he needs to do something to stop this pickpocket. Pop this pickpocket. So he teaches him how to fight. After some grueling training, Oliver is now a master of disguise and combat, and the two set off to find Toby. They arrive at a house where Toby's mom lives and sneak inside. They find Toby and attack him, but he easily defeats them and throws them both in jail. While locked up, Losbern tells Oliver that he messed up badly and that he's probably going to die. But Oliver says that he has a plan and asks Losbern to trust him. That evening, Toby sneaks into their cell to gloat, but Losbern manages to distract him long enough for Oliver to stuff a large loaf of bread down his pants. Toby is so embarrassed by having his pockets filled with bread that he confesses to his crimes. Losbern forgives him and the two leave the jail together. As they walk through the streets, they notice a crowd gathered around a fruit vendor and decide to investigate. What they see shocks them. It's Oliver's mom and Betsy, and they're trying to steal the fruit. Oliver confronts his mom, but she pretends to not know who he is. She tells him that Betsy is her niece and that they were just buying fruit. But Oliver doesn't believe her. Instead, he calls out Losbern, who steps forward and arrests them both. As they're led away, Oliver turns to Betsy and says that he always knew she was a thief. At the police station, Losbern thanks Oliver for helping him catch such a dangerous criminal. He tells Oliver that he wants to formally adopt him and make him his son. But Oliver responds that he doesn't want to be adopted by anyone else. He's already got a dad and he likes Mr. Brownlow a lot. Losbern is disappointed but respects Oliver's decision. He tells Oliver that he is going to write to Mr. Brownlow and tell him what a good job he did capturing his mom. And then the two leave together. Back at Brownlow's house, Oliver's mom is brought in and asked why she tried to steal fruit. She breaks down and tells Losbern the truth. She explains that she had a rough childhood and became an orphan at a young age. No one ever wanted to adopt her, so she grew up alone. She eventually met a man named Oliver Twist SR, and the two wound up having a son, Oliver Jr., but after Oliver Jr. was born, Twist Sr. left her and she's been on her own ever since. Losbern feels sorry for her and releases her without charging her. He tells her that she can move in with Mr. Brownlow and Oliver if she wants. She accepts and the three embrace. Losbern then tells Oliver that he is going to run for mayor and that he'll make Oliver his chief of police. Of course, Oliver declines, saying that he doesn't want to be a policeman. Instead, he tells Losbern that he wants to travel the world and be an explorer. Losbern is shocked but ultimately supports his son's decision. He tells Oliver that he is going to give him enough money so he can live comfortably for the rest of his life. Oliver thanks him and then sets off to explore. As he travels the world, Oliver becomes famous for solving difficult mysteries and bringing criminals to justice. One day, he receives a letter from Losbern telling him that he won the mayoral election and inviting him back home for a victory party. Oliver happily accepts and returns to his adoptive home city. He attends the party and catches up with everyone. Mr. Brownlow tells him that he's proud of the man he's become. Oliver's mom tells him that she's glad he found a loving family. And Betsy tells him that she's glad he stopped wearing socks because she hates the smell. And so the story ends. Now before we wrap things up, I want to talk about some of the changes we made to the source material. For starters, we obviously changed Oliver's last name from Twist to something more fitting for a cartoon, something that rhymes with cat. We also changed his mom's name from Agnes Moncrief to simply Mom. Another change we made was turning Oliver's adoptive mother into his biological mother. This allowed us to make Mr. Brownlow less creepy and more of a father figure. Finally, we made Losbern, the detective, a separate character from Mr. Brownlow. In the book, they're the same person, but we thought it would be more fun if they were two different characters. Now, as far as the animation style goes, we kept it fairly simple and straightforward. Most of the scenes take place either at Oliver's house, the workhouse, or on the streets, so the backgrounds didn't need to be anything too fancy. We did, however, add some subtle lighting effects to give the animation a bit more depth. Overall, we're pretty happy with how this episode turned out. It's definitely one of our more faithful adaptations, but we still managed to add some unique twists of our own. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We'd also like to take a moment to say a special thank you to our supporters. Your support helps us make these videos better and we appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time.